Hey guys, today we're going to try and give you a little bit of a backstory on BMX World Championship Racing. We know that the local scene is your most important scene, but today you're going to want to learn a little bit about what you're going to want to watch this week. It's the UCI BMX World Championships! Go watch it now! Come on in! The BMX Worlds has been an event that has gone on for decades. You know, the first World Championships was in 1982. It wasn't UCI back then. Bonus points for whoever puts the answer down below for what it was. The first UCI one was in 1996. But that's still a damn long time to be running this race. It's crazy. When they first started the Worlds, everybody wanted BMX racing to become something bigger and better than just some kids racing out in a field. Garrett Doze was one of the guys internationally who was pushing and pushing and pushing so hard. And if you guys haven't put the answer down below, I'm going to tell you right now. So if you've made it past the first 30 seconds, here's your little cheat code. The IBMXF was the first international BMX race, and it was for the International BMX Federation. And in 1982 in Dayton, Ohio, they did the first World Championships. Wow, what an event. Weren't a whole lot of people from around the world, but it was the first attempt. And everybody says you've got to take the first step, right? You know, you've got to make that first little rung up the ladder. And BMX was always known as the U.S. sport. You know, it was the sport of America. This was, you know, back then it was actually even more of the sport of California. And a few Texans, few Floridians, if we say it properly. And, you know, but it was a USA sport. So they started bringing in a little bit of international. Some people came over from Australia. Some people came over from the UK. Some people from the Netherlands. You know, it's funny. The Belgians and the Netherlands, you know, always claim that they started BMX racing back in the 50s. Scott Bryhop still claims that he started it in 1973 in Long Beach. So it's a lot of weird history. I mean, and that's part of why I want to try and help document this. And you've got guys like Dale Holmes, who is a world champion. Dale Holmes actually has the rainbow stripe tattooed on his arm. Dale Holmes actually rode for Supercross for a little bit. Bonus points. Put what year Dale Holmes rode for us down in the comment below. But Dale's got a really cool podcast that he does, BMX Weekly, and he's always talking about some different things. And, you know, he moved here from England and, you know, set up residence in Huntington Beach and now down in San Diego. And, you know, he's been making a great career out of BMX racing. And, you know, he was one of the first world champions back in 96. I mean, killer back then. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversy about where BMX racing actually first started. But everybody wanted BMX to become an international sport. Everybody had to take that first step. We had to make it grow. So Garrett Doze, the NBL, they started off with the IBMXF, Dayton, Ohio. Boom, here we go. BMX is now on an international stage. There was already a lot of racing going on down in Australia. There was a lot of racing going on over in the UK. France was coming on strong. Italy was trying to put together some stuff, and you could tell it was going to become a world sport. In 1996, the UCI jumped on board with BMX racing, and it officially became a world championship sport where there was actually a rainbow stripe. There was a rainbow jersey that you got to wear. If you notice this year, Felicia Stansel, all year long, she's been rocking that white uniform with the rainbow stripe, denoting that she is the world champion. And, you know, obviously Felicia rode for us for a couple of years. She got her golden crank for Pro of the Year while she rode for us. And, Now she's riding for S Squared, but what a great girl, and what a long history. I mean, how many junior world championships does she have? How many amateur world championships does she have? Everybody says that the world championships are a little bit false because it's a one-day race. It's not like the USA BMX series, where with the USA BMX series you get your title based off of how well you do all year long, where you collect your points and you garner your points. You have all your nationals that you hit, you collect your points, you go to the USA BMX Grands, and that's where the final is. The Worlds, everybody walks in with a clean slate. And when you walk in with that clean slate, you just lay it all out there and you put it all on the table for that day. It's a pretty big deal. A lot of heartbreaks. We've seen so many of our riders and so many of our friends go out in motos just because, someone will crash them. They'll break a spoke, something will happen. They'll blow a clip, slip a pedal, something will happen. And it's a heartbreaker. They could be training and being the best. They could be killing it all year long, winning every single USA BMX national out there and getting ready to just do everything. And they'll show up at Worlds ready to go. They'll slip out of the gates, or they'll have some kind of mechanical failure or get pushed over a turn, and that's it. They're done. They were going to be World 1 and they lost it. And you only get one chance that year. You only get one chance to be, World 1 for 14 boys, or World 1 for 15 boys, or for 14 girls, or 15 girls, or whatever your age class is. You only get one attempt at that. Once you jump up into the elite class, the junior class, now we actually have the U23 class, so it's broken down a little bit more. This year, we've got few riders in the elite classes. Spencer Cole's going for us for U23. Vicente Garcia's going for us, for U23. They're going to be having a great time, and it's going to be fun watching them battle with each other. Watching Vanetta and elite women is going to be a great time. I mean, Vanetta has been training. She's been to the Olympics, which is something that has happened due to BMX racing being a world championship sport. Everything has moved on to become an Olympic sport. So now you have BMX in the Olympics. And again, the Olympics are ran the same way as the World Championships. It's a one-day race. It's a one-day event. It's not a series. And it's really cool. The riders get to celebrate it. Bubba Harris, who will be being inducted into the Hall of Fame this October 4th, 5th, and 6th weekend in Tulsa, USA BMX Hall of Fame. Make sure you're there. Our guy Bubba, when he won the Elite Men World Championship, the most prestigious elite championship title you can have, after he won the title, what do? Goes out and backflips the track. Amazing. It's a crazy event. Lucky for all you guys, it's all going to be being televised live on YouTube. There's going to be all kinds of links popping up. I mean, if you go over to 15 BMX, they're going to have a link to all the amateur races, all challenge classes, all the championship classes. There's just going to be a ton of great footage. Part of the cool thing about the Worlds is that they have it in different countries every year. So next year, in 2024, we're going to be lucky because it's going to be back in Rock Hill. So it's going to be in KJ's backyard. And the last time it was in Rock Hill, Bella, who rides for us obviously, and has for 9 years, she's not in the championship classes currently, but she will be next year. When she raced in the challenge classes last time it was in Rock Hill, she actually had someone's pedal get caught in her spokes during the main, and the spokes ripped out of the rim. She was running one of the Speedline carbon rims, so the rim was still straight. One of the great things about a carbon rim, even if the spoke rips out, the rim will still stay straight, but the spokes started to wrap around the hub and wrap around her cassette cog. And she kept going. She was going for the win. At the finish line, just as she crossed the finish line, the spoke had locked up her hub because it had locked up on the cog and locked up on the frame. She full front flipped right across the finish line. I'm proud of all of our riders. And I'm proud of the riders regardless of what they get. I know, like Ryder Murky this last year, he got World 6. Rad Ryder, so stoked. He's hoping to better that. I was having a conversation with his mom just a couple of days ago, and the best thing that I can say is make memories. And this year he's going to be going back again, and Ty's going to be there, when Ty races the same age class. And Ty just went to the Euro rounds and picked up a Euro 4, which is awesome. The numbers that they're getting as they're building up, these are all little building blocks for their BMX career, but their life career. This is all something that they're going to learn to live with, and they have to learn how to live with the defeats as well as they have to learn how to live with the wins. So it's not just something that, oh, awesome, you got World 6 or you got World 3 or you got World 1 and all that. And again, it's kind of funny, like I mentioned Bubba, dude, greatest of all time, right? That's what people put him down as, is the greatest of all time. It was his first year to be on the ballot for the Hall of Fame, and he got inducted in. Boom, that quick. How awesome is that, right? I'm more proud of the fact that he's a great dad and he's a great soccer coach for his daughters. He's a great pastor over at his local church. He's trying to buy his local track to try and help give back to the local kids to get more kids racing. All these accomplishments, everything that he's done on a world stage has helped him be able to do this. A couple things that are also really cool with the Worlds that I like that we have is with our USA team. Kent Fallon, who rides for us and has ridden for us for years. 3 USA BMX #1 Vet Pro Championship titles. That's a pretty big accomplishment, right? He is the challenge coach. So as the kids go through their training processes and as they go through everything, he's the guy who's back there, because the one thing that's really weird about the Worlds is that they don't get to have any interaction with the parents, and they don't get to have any interaction with team managers or anything like that. Once you show up at the Worlds, you go off back to your country's tent and you have your country coach and you have your country pit, and that's it. So Kent Fallon, who ridden for us for 18 years now? Yeah, 18 years. 3 #1 Vet Pro titles. He's racing 45 and over expert now. He has his own, life sport gym out in New Mexico. If you're in New Mexico, if you're in Albuquerque, you need a personal trainer, this guy's the man. But he's the coach and wrangles all the challenge kids up. And it's really cool to be able to watch that. Nick Valencia, our TM, he also assists with all that to make sure that the challenge kids are being taken care of. It's really cool to where we have these current riders, former #1 pros, that are helping these challenge kids be able to grow on this world stage. There's a lot of people who get really upset and poo-poo, excuse the term, on the idea of, oh, well, it's the Worlds, I'm not going to go to the Worlds. Oh, how did you qualify for the Worlds? Oh, how did this? Well, Yeah, I mean, the way that you have to qualify for the Worlds is you just have to make your main at a Worlds qualifier. Well, that's a pretty big deal. A lot of people don't attempt to do it because the trips to go to the Worlds are typically pretty expensive. I mean, going to Glasgow, Scotland this year, I mean, for a rider and their parent to go, you're talking about 10 grand. But if you have a rider that you want to give that life memory, you want to give that life skill to, you're giving them a lesson. You're giving them teachings. You're showing them a new culture. You're showing them the way that people live in a different part of the world. You're teaching them a lot of different things. And you're letting them interact with kids from other countries. And not only are they riding BMX and doing what they love to do, but they get to learn a lot about different cultures. And they make a lot of friends. I know Bella has a great friend from New Zealand that she's so excited every time she sees her at a different national now. And I mean, they only get to see each other, once every 2 years, once every 3 years. But they've met each other. They've traded jerseys. They keep in touch with each other. Ryder Murky and Ty, they met each other. Obviously, they're on the same team now, but, they text each other. They FaceTime each other. Deegan, Josh, the Gomalickis. I mean, they've all got friends around the world. And it all comes out of BMX racing because you're at that world level. And these are all kids that are growing. And as you see them progress through their racing, to see them become the next Felicia Stansel, to see them become the next Bubba Harris. I mean, Josh White always had the nickname of Little Bub, and he was always being trained by Bubba Harris, and he always had the same riding style as Bubba Harris, and Bub was one of the ones who nicknamed him Little Bub. And it's really cool to watch how these former world champions or current world champions are giving back to the current generation of challenge kids that are growing to keep this whole cycle moving as we grow and we progress the sport. So guys, what did we learn today? Hopefully you learned a little bit about worldwide racing. I know I probably went in some weird random rants. Hopefully you're still sticking around right now. I gotta call these guys an Uber. Daniel drank all the mezcal and Nam drank all the Alasta beer. We gotta get a little bit more in here for him, and I'm sure the alarm company is gonna be calling the police pretty soon if we don't set the alarm. So we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. We're doing this for you guys. But I hope you learned something today. And the first thing I hope you learned is that BMX racing is a family. And it's not just a local family. You don't just have the local family at your local track where you should be going out on a regular weekly basis, daily basis, practicing, riding, racing, and building that local community so that one day you can get onto the world stage. And once you get there, you're gonna make a bigger family. You're gonna have more friends. You're gonna have more of a community and make things grow. Because that's what BMX is all about. It's that fun. It's everybody enjoying and everybody having a great time. The second thing, this week, while you're watching all the UCI racing, when you start to feel the windows in your house start to rattle and you start to hear that cheering, when you see Spencer, Vanetta, Vicente cross the finish line first, when you see Nick, Josh, Deegan, Gage, Caden, Sequoia, Ryder, Ty, when you're seeing them just kill it in their laps and you just start to feel your house just rattle, I want you to know that's us cheering for them. And hopefully, if you've made it this far in this video It's you guys helping cheer for them too. And you're sending some of that worldwide love to them to help them perform for you. So when you see Josh doing that sick little whip, when you see Caden running that manual, when you see Ty doing that amazing line you never thought was possible, when you see Ryder doing his infamous dog pisser out there on a world stage, they're all doing it for you because BMX is fun and BMX is family. And it's getting late and I got to get home to my family. But I want you to remember something. Always take the time to grab your bike and get out and ride.